Every animal on Earth was born with everything it needs to survive. The bear has thick fur. The elephant has armored skin. The Arctic fox has a coat so insulated that it does not start shivering until the temperature drops to -70 degrees. -70. You start complaining at 17. And then there is the human, the only large mammal on Earth that showed up to the survival competition completely naked. No fur, no armor, no natural insulation, no built-in anything, just skin. Bare, exposed, absolutely useless against the cold, skin, and what did we do about it? We looked at every other animal, admired their fur, and then killed them and put it on ourselves. We have spent the last 100,000 years running around in other animals' coats like we are at the world's most desperate costume party. The lion did not have to do this. The wolf did not have to do this. Every single other mammal on Earth woke up on day one already dressed. We woke up, looked around, and immediately started shoplifting from the wildlife. So the question is, why? Why are we the only ones who lost it? What happened? And was losing our fur the worst thing that ever happened to us? Or was it secretly the best? The answer is going to rearrange how you think about your own species. Here is something that should genuinely disturb you. You used to have fur, not you personally, but your ancestors. 6 million years ago, the common ancestor of humans and chimpanzees was covered head to toe in thick body hair. Dense, warm, fully functional primate fur. And then, over millions of years, it mostly disappeared, not overnight, gradually, generation by generation. Less and less hair on the body, while the head kept most of it, which is why you still have hair on your head and basically nothing useful anywhere else. Your body hair today is essentially decorative. It does almost nothing. It is the biological equivalent of a vestigial souvenir from a life your ancestors used to live. You have goosebumps when you are cold. That reflex exists because your ancestors' fur would raise when they were cold, trapping warm air close to the skin. Your fur is gone. The reflex that used to control it is still there. Your body is still trying to fluff fur that no longer exists. That is both fascinating and deeply sad. So why did the fur go? The leading scientific explanation, and this is genuinely elegant, is heat. Ancient humans were doing something no other large predator was doing. They were hunting in the midday sun on the African savanna. Every other predator hunted at dawn or dusk, or at night. The big cats, the wolves, the hyenas, all of them avoided the midday heat because overheating kills. But early humans were persistence hunters. They did not chase prey and catch it quickly. They followed it. For hours, sometimes all day, they ran the animal until it collapsed from exhaustion, not because they were faster. They absolutely were not, but because they could cool down and the animal could not. A gazelle can outrun a human easily. But a gazelle cannot run for 6 hours in 40-degree heat without overheating. A human, with the right cooling system, can. And the cooling system that made this possible was sweat. Humans are the sweatiest animal on Earth. We have between 2 and 5 million sweat glands. Most mammals have almost none. They pant instead, but sweating only works efficiently on bare skin. Fur traps heat and moisture. It defeats the entire purpose. So over millions of years, as persistence hunting became more and more central to human survival, the fur went, replaced by bare skin, sweat glands, and the most efficient cooling system any land mammal has ever evolved. We did not lose our fur. We traded it for something much better. Here is where it gets extraordinary. Better cooling did not just mean longer hunts. It meant more food, more reliably, with less competition. While every other predator was sleeping in the shade at noon, waiting for the temperature to drop, early humans were out working, hunting, gathering, covering ground. They had the entire midday window to themselves, and more food meant something that changed everything. Bigger brains. The human brain is the most expensive organ in biology. It uses 20% of your total calorie intake while being only 2% of your body weight. Running a big brain requires an enormous and reliable calorie supply. The persistence hunting strategy, made possible by bare skin and sweat, provided exactly that. So the chain goes. Lose fur, sweat better, hunt longer, eat more, grow bigger brain, build language, build tools, build fire, build cities, build everything. The entire arc of human civilization traces back, in a very real sense, to the decision, not a conscious decision. Evolution does not make decisions. To stop having fur, the naked ape accidentally became the most dangerous animal on Earth, not despite being naked, because of it. Of course, there was a catch. Bear skin is brilliant for cooling in hot African savanna conditions. It is absolutely catastrophic everywhere else. Once humans started moving out of Africa, into Europe, into Central Asia, into the freezing north, the lack of fur became a genuine survival crisis. The bear was fine. It came with a coat. The wolf was fine. It also came with a coat. The human arrived in Europe during an ice age, naked, thin-skinned, shivering, and had to figure out clothing in real time or die, and we figured it out. We looked at the animals that had what we needed. We hunted them. We skinned them. We wore them. Archaeologists have found evidence of clothing as far back as 170,000 years ago. Body lice, which evolved specifically to live in clothing, diverged from head lice around that time, which tells us humans were regularly wearing enough clothes to give parasites an ecological niche. We know humans were wearing clothes because the lice evolved to live in them. That is both a triumph of archaeology and the most undignified evidence in the history of science. But here is the part that makes the whole story satisfying. Fur is fixed. You are born with it. You cannot adjust it. You cannot take it off when it is warm. You cannot make it thicker when it gets colder. You are stuck with what evolution gave you. A polar bear cannot move to the tropics. An Arctic fox cannot survive the African savanna. Their fur locked them into their environment. It is perfect for where they are and useless everywhere else. Clothing is different. Clothing is modular, adjustable, replaceable, improvable. You can wear more in winter and less in summer. You can make it from whatever material is locally available. You can share the knowledge of how to make it. You can improve it across generations. Fur is hardware. Clothing is software. And software can be updated. The animals that kept their fur are, by and large, still in the same environments their ancestors occupied 50,000 years ago. The animal that lost its fur and replaced it with improvised clothing, it is on every continent, in every climate, in the Arctic and the desert and the deep ocean, and, as of 1969, on the moon. No other animal has done anything close to this. The polar bear has better fur than we will ever have, and we went to the moon. So here is the full picture. 6 million years ago, our ancestors were furry, warm, comfortable, perfectly adapted to the forest environment they lived in. Then the climate changed. The forests shrank. The savanna expanded. And somewhere in that transition, a new kind of primate appeared, one that was slowly losing its fur, gaining sweat glands, and learning to chase animals for hours in the midday heat. It looked like a downgrade. It was the greatest upgrade in the history of life on Earth because losing the fur forced a solution. And the solution, clothing, was infinitely better than the thing it replaced. It could be improved. It could be shared. It could be adapted to any environment on Earth. The bear never had to solve the cold problem. It was born with the answer built in. We had to figure it out from scratch. And in figuring it out, we accidentally figured out how to live everywhere. Every other animal on Earth was born dressed for one specific world. We lost our outfit, and then we made a better one for every world there is. Slow down. Think a little.